Hey Tooth Fairy, how are you doing? Welcome to today's episode where summer's over essentially. Anyways, kids are back in school, and on a personal note, I'm going actually at the time of this recording to Tucson tomorrow to meet my daughter at her dorm to move her in. So super bittersweet. I'm not gonna lie, cry all the time. But I have to be grateful that she has that opportunity. So with that being said, I wanted to share a testimonial with you today of my client Rita, and it's just a good time because everybody's kind of back in the swing of things, into the routine before the holidays come, right? We have time to kind of work on ourselves, get back into our routine, like I said. And I just wanted to share Rita's story because it is incredible. I mean, of all the hygienists I've worked with, over 150, she was the most knowledgeable when it comes to health and fitness. In fact, when she messaged me, it was a really long message on Instagram, and just the way that she spoke, I felt like she really kind of knew a lot. So I was wondering what was going to come out of it. But at the end of the day, she lives in Vegas. Well, she now lives in Florida, but she was living in Vegas at the time, and she had run into one of my clients, Brittany, and she's like, why do your shoulders look so good? Like, your posture looks amazing. What are you doing? And Brittany's like, I'm working with Brianne. So Rita started working with me because she worked out on her own religiously, and she just had chronic pain, tension headaches. She had to actually leave clinical hygiene. She did PT, she did all the things, right? And her workouts were making everything worse. So I told her what I tell a lot of my clients is, look, you're working out with muscle imbalances. We have to take one step back in order to take two steps forward. So that's exactly what we did. So stay tuned in because hers is really juicy. I love this testimonial, and it makes me so happy to hear where she's at today. So stay tuned because we're going to dive right in, her and I, right now.
Hey there! Welcome to the Lift for Longevity podcast, where our goal is to build our strongest, healthiest body. We all deserve to feel our best, but since we only get one body, we have to make sure to protect it by moving safely and with purpose to prevent pain, injury, and surgery. I'm your host, Brianne Novice, and I'm a fit pro turned business owner and also a girl mom. I'm obsessed with educating and empowering dental pros on how to take care of their body by training efficiently and building the right muscles to prolong their career. I know you're tired of spending time working out but still dealing with annoying aches and pains, getting rid of your pain temporarily only to have it come right back just a few hours later, or feeling like you never have any energy. You wish there was a long-term solution to get rid of your pain for good. Well, I'm here to give you real-life, actionable steps that you can take today to get rid of your pain, say goodbye to quick fixes, and have energy to live a life that you love. So if you're ready to get stronger, enjoy your life outside the operatory, and have longevity in your career, grab yourself a high-protein snack and let's get to it. So today I'm chatting with my client, Rita, who was a practicing hygienist and had to leave because of pain, she's still in the dental industry. But Rita, explain to me a little bit about kind of where you were at, say a year ago, right? And kind of why you approached me and my program.
So almost a year ago, I was suffering from chronic headaches that I would get weekly, that no matter what medication I took, nothing touched them. So they were always on the left side of my head. And I practiced, I think, Brianne, you said 22 years as a hygienist. So I was working in perio office, which is pretty intense. If any of you hygiene know, perio is pretty tough. Yeah, just suffering from that. And then the beginning of November last year, I had numbness in my two fingers on my left hand, which followed up with MRIs, seeing a neurologist, which I've already was in PT, getting consistent massage, seeing the chiropractor, doing all of these things to try to just relax my muscles, to try to keep the headaches at bay, which at one point it helped, but then of course they came back. So I was working out on a consistent basis, 3-4 days a week. I wasn't afraid of fitness or lifting or anything like that. It usually helped my mental capacity. It does help my mental capacity, it does. So that's what kind of kept my sanity. So then I did all the testing. They couldn't find anything. And I knew in the back of my mind, it was just chronic muscle tension. So I ended up getting a job opportunity that was still within the dental field, but I wasn't going to be practicing clinical hygiene full time anymore, which I took because my body needed a break. And in the same time, all of this stuff was happening. I was getting fitted for new loops. I was with 2 other hygienists. One of them was talking about Brianne. And the second time that I met her, I said, all right, that's it. Tell me who you're working with again. I need to know, because I need to fix this madness that's going on. So she's like, Rita, it's built by Brianne. Just here's her Instagram, go in there. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went in her Instagram, sent her a message, we connected, talked, and then it was like, I just need help, because didn't know what to do at that point, just kind of lost. So I found you, and I'm obviously super happy, because I was just, it's like you're lost and you don't know where to go. You have massage therapists, you have a chiropractor, you have your physical therapist, and everyone's trying to get you to do these exercises, but it's like, who's addressing the problem? And I never had someone address the problem, and everyone knew what the problem was. And usually the answer was, well, you just need to quit your job. Okay, well, that's not an option. Like,
No.
I still have to work. You still have to live your life. I have bills to pay, I have a family, all the things. So I was glad the other opportunity came, but I was also grateful that I found you, because I don't think I would have fixed anything without your program. Because the main things that I noticed were, I feel so open in my chest and in my shoulders and loose, and my mobility is nothing that it's been in 6-7 years, maybe longer. I have no idea. I can only go in the last 2, where every workout that I did, when I finished, my body just felt tight and seized, even though I knew I was gaining muscle and getting stronger, and I liked the way my body looked, but I just felt tight all the time. And then implementing this every workout, after I think it was the second one, I texted you and said, like, I just feel so open. Like, I just felt relaxed and open. And then it just domino affected, going through every week, week after week, working a different muscle, working it in a way where I wasn't straining my body, but I was also getting stronger and working the muscles that needed to be worked without just doing more damage. It just fixed everything that was off. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm blessed to be able to help you, honestly. And I'll remember your text or your message to me on Instagram was really, really long. And just from your verbiage, I'm like, she's very knowledgeable about fitness. Like, and I was just wondering where our conversation was going to go. But I know you had mentioned, like, Brittany's shoulders looked great. Her posture looked great. And I think that's what prompted you to, like, inquire about me through her. But I mean, even on, like, our first call, I remember you talking about your shoulder, and I could tell, I'm like, it's your bicep. And I think your PT even said that. So then we stretched your bicep. It's like all these little things, it all works together, right? So when you're doing a lot of pulling, right? You're doing a lot of deadlifts and hip thrusts and rows, and it's like, then our biceps are tight, right? And so it's, again, that shoulder pain was stemming from somewhere else. And so these are kind of the things that I like to educate on. And you were like a sponge. You still are, which I love, because you are very knowledgeable. You're probably my most knowledgeable client when it comes to fitness, but it's a different type of fitness, right? Like, it's not, you're not doing burpees, you're not doing your heavy hip thrusts or whatever you're doing, in your previous program, which there's a time and a place for those, but you are like my perfect example. And when I tell everybody who's already lifting heavy or just maybe doing things a little bit more intensely for their bodies, where they're at, I'm like, look, we have to regress. We have to take 2 steps back, fix those imbalances, and then we can go back on the barbell if you want to, or go lifting heavier, or doing whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? It's because you are doing more damage. You're doing more damage. And I just talked to a client too about when people floss too much. I'm like, that's a thing. She's like, well, if you're aggressively flossing, you're doing more harm than good. I'm like, oh my God, this is a perfect analogy for when you're doing group fitness or Beachbody or CrossFit or whatever. It's like, you're just doing more damage to those muscles. And you felt that. You felt worse after a workout, right? You shouldn't feel like that.
Yeah. The tightness was real. And my hips were always super tight, which they're much looser now, but the how I can just turn my neck and even my shoulders, just the rotation in my arms is different. And I had shoulder surgery years ago because I used to do CrossFit and tore a labrum in my right shoulder. So that there's still, there's scar tissue in there. I can feel it. There's limited mobility to a point where I can feel it pulling when I'm doing a warm up or a cool down. Like I can feel that point where it's like, oh, that's tense right there. But I push through that because I know that needs to be stretched. And it's not that I'm putting myself in pain. I'm just putting myself in an uncomfortable spot because I know that if I don't stretch that, I don't want my shoulder to freeze up one day. So that whole limitation, which I really am not limited, but that's different. The amount of mobility that I used to have compared to what I have now is night and day. It's just everything feels like greased and oiled and lubed up, like it's going to move freely without feeling like, oh my God, this is just the tension comes back. So it's amazing. It's just amazing. It really has changed my life because I didn't mention it, but my headaches are pretty much gone. They don't exist. And if I get one, it may be one a month that is just so minor compared to what I used to have. I mean, I should have come home on many occasions and just gone to bed. Never did that because that's not the type of person I am. I just suffered through the pain. But my eye would be swollen. I would be like, almost droopy eye. I mean, it would be like similar to a migraine. So that doesn't exist anymore. And I couldn't be happier about that because it's miserable. It just ruins your quality of life. And I know every hygienist that you deal with knows that and has felt something similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, people are used to that, right? Or feeling that way. And I can't imagine because I would get the smallest headache in the whole wide world. Maybe I don't remember the last time I got a headache, but I'm like, oh, I can't do anything today. You know what I mean? So to like be able to push through that, I could never. But it's funny because I have a ton of clients getting rid of headaches because it's literally tension. It's all tension headaches. And then you get rid of the tension. But not only that, it's like you said, when you have that forward head and that rounded shoulders, everything's so tight and constricted and immobile, right? And so we need to open up and gain mobility so that our body's working together, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of like, you have no range of motion, no flexibility, no strength, nothing. And it's just like all fixable because they're imbalances.
Right. And I have to say, I started your program, I want to say it was April or May. It's now August because I remember being on vacation and I was speaking to you about it. That was our first conversation, as a matter of fact.
About how uncomfortable you were on the plane seat.
Yes, that was our conversation because I was in Florida. So we started working together after that. That was like the end of April. And I had a massage and saw the chiropractor the end of April before I left for that trip. And I have not been back since.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
That
have you
speaks about
flown since? I know flying's never comfortable for anybody.
No. I'm like, have I? I don't think so.
Oh.
And if I did, I don't remember.
Did you drive to Phoenix? I know you were there recently.
I did. I drove down. Yeah, I drove down. Which the nice thing was I drove down. That was the whole thing. I got a nail in my tire like an hour outside of the city. It was like 115. I'm like, thank God it got fixed. It was easy, no big deal. But my friend flew down the next day and she actually drove back with me and drove me home. So it was kind of nice because it was just a lot of work stuff. And it was nice to sit in the car and just talk and not have to pay attention. She just drove me back. So
I get that. My daughter's 17. I'm like, you driving? It's amazing.
It's so
anyways,
nice.
We'll reel it back in. So yeah, it sounds like you were experienced a lot of discomfort, pain, headaches prior to my program. Flip the script. Now you're not. You're feeling good. Life is great. Actually, I know last time we talked, you were considering going back to practicing clinically, which is huge because 22 years is a long time. That can do a lot of damage on your body. And, a lot of people, well, I don't want to assume, but I think a lot of people don't ever go back, maybe for like a day. Like, I feel like once you're done, you're kind of done. And I don't know, every person's different, but I think the fact that you were open to that opportunity speaks volumes too.
Yeah. Cause I feel like I now have I have the proper tools, not more tools. I have the proper tools to keep me out of pain, keep me mobile, keep me strong in the places I need, but keep me in that good place where I can just function pain-free. And I'm not walking around, which the pain is the domino effect down. It just takes a toll on your body because you're in discomfort. So then you're unhappy because you're in discomfort. Then you get more tense because you're in pain. So it kind of seize up more. And all you want to do is relax, but then you still have life to do. And then you don't want to do life because you just want to take a hot shower and go to bed because you're just so uncomfortable. But then you have the emotional part of it where you can spiral down, which I've been there of, I'm going to live like this forever. This is terrible. Like, what am I supposed to do with myself? So all of that goes off the plate. So your mental state is better, which makes you happier. So then you can just live and be happy and take care of your life and yourself, but you feel good because you're taking care of your vessel, which it's so important. And to me, it's like what I've been through. And I think most of your clients have, they realize the importance of taking care of this. And when you get out of that, you never want to go back to that. So your body becomes a priority and you cherish it, and you cherish the pain-free and not having to do all of these things to try to just slap the Band-Aid on it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. Because I hear that all the time. Like, I can't play with my kids, or I can't cook dinner, or I'm crabby with my husband. Right. And it's like, it's hard to hear because it's like, I know, hygiene school is very intense. You hustle to get through that. And then you hustle all day, you risk your body for a career that you love, but like, is it worth that sacrifice? Like, I appreciate what my clients do so much, but like, that's why I love to help them get out of pain, because it's like, that's not a way to live. That is not a way to live, right? When you have no quality of life. And that's the thing. People are like, I just want to get through my day. I'm like, well, how about we like get through our week and like have a great weekend with our family and, be able to do whatever we want to do and not have to worry about pain, physically feel it, or mentally even have that on our mind. Just like free up that space and just live life. Because we only get one. I know that's so cheesy, but it's true.
It is. And it's been like that. Like, I've been in, every situation. I can go down the line at every part of my life. There's been a day where I'm like, I have such a headache. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like going to the store. I don't feel like cooking dinner. I don't feel like going out. I don't feel like social. I don't feel like doing anything. But I've pushed through it, even though I'm quietly suffering. But you get to a point where you're done. You're done.
Yeah. I mean, and there's burnout and there's depression and anxiety. Like, and I'm not a doctor, right? Or a magician, but it's like, just by feeling good, like all these things can be fixed. And like you said, your mental, it was your escape. You're working out to keep your sanity. I feel that way too. So, there's just so many benefits, right? But we have to make sure that we're training properly, right? Because most people aren't.
Right. So don't follow any influencer. Follow Brianne.
Oh my gosh. I saw a video the other day about how to fix rounded shoulders. I think smoke was coming out of my ears. And I'm like, I'm not sure how an overhead barbell press with your wrists like this and front lateral raises are going to fix rounded shoulders. But I hope nobody's following you. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah. And I can't do those. I don't do those. Like, those are just not part of it because they can still trigger my headaches. And I know it's from my trap. So I just don't do that stuff. I love the rowing. I love all the band work. It's like, you think you're doing nothing, but you can make it very difficult and you're really doing something. You're like, okay, all right.
Yeah. I have clients all the time. Like, your program is deceivingly difficult. And it's like, I can modify it for somebody who's never worked out a day in their life easily. But then for somebody like you who is active, we can modify it and progress it as much as possible. Right. So it's just, that's strength training, right? There's modifications and kind of tweaks that we can do to make it more challenging wherever you're at, right? So anyways, well, I hate to ask, but I'm wondering what your advice would be. Like, Brittany's like, sign up with Brianne, right? Rita, what would you say to another hygienist who's feeling like shit, really? And
I would tell you, do it. I would tell you, like, I'm telling you, do it. Don't hesitate, because it will truly help you. I don't care if you have no level of fitness. I don't care if you have a high level of fitness. And I can tell you the program I did before was a lot of heavy lifting. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was getting stronger, but I had to flip the script in my head and just follow the path and know I'm still moving my body. I'm still doing something. The something is working. Yes, my body composition is going to change. That's okay. But I need to fix this. And I just went in, I had the plan, I knew what I was doing, I executed and went on about my day. Didn't think twice about it, just did it. And I would tell you, you just listen, follow, and do, and it'll be worth it. I promise. I promise. That's what I would tell you.
Yeah. Like lifting heavy is fun, but like less is more when it comes to strength training, right? And yeah, it's just important that we're working the right muscles and hygiene. So
yeah. And I have to say, this week I touched the barbell a couple times for the first time in 4 months, and I do not miss it.
Really?
Don't miss it. Because I gotta say, I did RDLs. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do some Romanian deadlifts. I'm gonna use the barbell. Cool. I don't like it. I like the dumbbells and I like the kettlebells. It is so much better. And I feel it so much differently. The barbell, it takes a toll on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a toll on my shoulders. And I've strained my shoulders by using it. And and that was part of what I wanted to do right before I started your program. I was like, I'm not touching the barbell for a month. I'm just going to do everything with dumbbells or kettlebells. That's it. I can do it. I know I can. I'm just going to switch this to do it. And since doing your program, I love it. I love it so much more because I think it is more challenging, but I think that's what makes me feel like it just makes my body feel better. I think that's the only conclusion I can come to, but
I get it. Cause I enjoy the barbell, but there's days where I don't use it. And I love my workouts, right? It's just, you kind of evolve as you get older and you're training and it's more functional, right? Doing the bands and training in different planes. Like you don't need to go squat 200 pounds, but I did want to touch on too, because, when you signed up, I always do a movement screen with everybody. And I'm like, Rita, your chest falls forward, right? Which is something I see 100% of the time in the hygienists. Their hips are super tight, right? And you're like, well, I know, but like, and my husband tells me, but I don't know how to fix it. And when you're squatting and your chest falling forward, you're not working the right muscles. You're putting all this strain and tension on your low back, right? And I know you had gone to the Smith machine to try and fix it to keep yourself upright, which is actually doing more damage too, because it's like you're forcing it in such a fixed position that your body is not even able to really adapt. And so, then I showed you how to fix it. And you're like, I feel like I'm training now in the proper movement pattern, right? Because you were squatting with your chest upright. And that's exactly what it's about, right? I see this 100% of the time in my screens. And people are doing this all the time in group fitness or wherever. And like your squatting is poorly executed. You're not even working the right muscles. Like what's the point? What's the point of doing it if you're not going to do it efficiently, but because of the imbalances, you're not physically able to. Right.
So that's, I'm telling you, it's flipped. It's amazing. It's just it's nice because that should be the reason you work out. It should be enjoyable. And when you leave, you should feel good. You shouldn't feel worse. You're on a high because you get your body in kind of a stress state to get those endorphins pumping and get everything rolling. You forget about half the crap that happened mentally. You feel better, but when you enjoy it and you feel good, you look forward to the next one. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I've noticed where I would go here and there, like I wouldn't work out for a week because life gets in the way. Who cares? It's not the end of the world. I'm not on this strict regimen. I'm not competing. It's fine. But now if I don't do it, because of everything I've been through with your program, my body is uncomfortable. It wants that move. Like I need that movement to feel greased and oiled and free. Like I can move. So that's the more interesting thing where I think all the barbell work I did, I loved to relax and calm down and get a rest. Now this is so different. It's like my body craves it. Like I need it. And then when I go, I'm like, oh my God, I just feel better. It's almost like you need to go move.
You want to go salsa dance afterwards.
Yeah. And then I can leave and just feel like I'm like on top of the world. It's that's the shift in it. So it's good to feel that because then it keeps me wanting to go and be consistent to keep up with it. So it's not even like the motivation thing where I know a lot of people say that's just a bunch of crap, and it kind of is. It's just consistency. It's like brushing and flossing. You got to be consistent or you're going to have a terrible trash mouth. So this is the same thing. If you're consistent, you're going to have good results. The motivation is not going to be there. So the motivation has flipped into, I feel so much better when I go. I'm going to go. I have no desire to go drive and get in the car and go to the gym and do the things. None. But I forced myself to go, and I always feel good when I leave. And that's that part of, I need it. I need to go. I need to loosen everything up, do all of the things, go through the motions, do the exercises. And then my body's like, thank you. That's all I wanted. I'm like, okay, we're good now. So it makes it worth it, because I'm in a position right now where I don't have a gym in my house anymore, and I used to. So I can't work out in my garage. I have like a 15-minute drive to the gym. So I don't
And you go
love
at
the
7
drive.
a.m.
Yeah, I go in the morning. So it's not like the most convenient thing for me. So going, that's where it's like, it's almost become a habit. I gotta go. I'm going. See ya. No matter how bad this doesn't want to go, I got to put one foot in front of the other and go.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot, especially from, you are already an active individual, but people or hygienists who weren't active, but they know they're going to feel better afterwards, and it helps them to stay disciplined or motivated or committed, because they feel better when they do it, and they know it's benefiting them, right? Because they can feel it, right? They feel results, right? If you're working all the time and you don't feel results, well, screw it, I'm done. You know what I mean? But when you feel results, significant results, you're like, okay, let's keep going,
Mm-hmm. So that's what makes it, it's just the whole encompassing thing. So I appreciate it. I'm very grateful that I found you. I'm very grateful I've gotten to work with you, and I could not be happier.
I'm grateful for you too, Rita. I told you, you're not getting rid of me anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of you. I got to keep you, because you're like my guiding light right now. I'm like, I don't want to get rid of you.
You're so
You're
funny.
the only person. You're the only person that has helped me, truly helped me. I've had a lot of people help me, and they've just been small steps, just small things. Nothing has fixed it. And I don't, nothing's ever going to fix it, like, unless I did quit, which now I'm working on a computer. It's just as bad. So it's not any different. So it's just a different position in a way. I don't have a personality to deal with. I got the keyboard to deal with. So yeah, I don't even know where I lost my train of thought now, because it's just, you're the person that fixed it. So that's it. Whether it's the fix or not, and people believe in that or not. I mean, I've had plenty of people that have helped me, and I'm forever grateful for them, because everybody's taught me something, and I've taken something from every single person, because you need that with all of this. You need that. But you're the first person who's like, no, okay, let's do this. Okay, fine. You obviously know, you've worked in the field, you've worked with enough people, you're correcting what is off, and that's what we need to fix. And it worked. You know what you're doing, obviously, and you're very good at it.
Aww, I appreciate you. Well, you guys are good at what you do too, right? So we all work together. I've learned so much from my clients. It's so cool. So I kind of feel like I'm definitely not a hygienist, because I could never pass chemistry. But yeah, I just kind of feel like, part of the team a little bit.
For sure. You are. You worked in the dental field. Like, you're part of it. It doesn't matter. Everybody has their piece to that puzzle.
Yeah.
You're not sitting in there grinding with cleaning the teeth and doing the crap. Like, you're not in there doing that. You're doing something else, but it's all a cohesive unit. It all works together.
Right. And I do have my 6-month cleaning next week, and I'm going to ask my hygienist why you didn't tell me about this nanohydroxyapatite. Huh? Why'd I have to learn that from my clients? You've been cleaning my teeth for years, lady. So anyways, we won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go there. We'll leave that out.
Well, I'm so excited to continue working with you, right? And we're going to grow and evolve and keep progressing, and just make you feel like Superwoman, right? Because you deserve it. You are welcome, but you put in the work, right? I just gave you the roadmap, so it's a two-way street, right?
Yeah, but without the roadmap, I wouldn't have known what to do. So that's what I needed. I needed the roadmap. You were there. You're there for support. You're there for it all. So it's super appreciated. Yeah, beyond words. Obviously, you can tell.
Melts my heart. Well, until our next check-in call, Rita, always a pleasure with you. And I thank you for your time, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. You too, Brianne. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
I fucking love Rita's story so much. The one thing I remember that still sticks out to me to this day was where she says she was quietly suffering, right? Her husband wanted to go to parties with her on the weekend and she wouldn't want to go. She wouldn't want to be social. And I don't want that for anybody, right? So talk about a 180. I mean, Rita, she feels open, right? She always felt kind of like crunched, and she tried to fix things on her own. Like, I'm like, look, Rita, your chest is fine forward on your squat. Well, yeah, I tried the Smith machine. I'm like, cool. Well, you can't force your body to squat upright. Like, it's adapted to faulty movement patterns. Like, we have to fix your imbalances so that we can kind of retrain those movement patterns. But now she has increased mobility, her mental state is better, and she's happier. Like, that, I have no words, right? Like, she's grateful for me. At the end, she says, I'm the only person that has helped her, and she's grateful for me, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to help her, right? Because she deserves to feel amazing. She worked her ass off in the gym for years, and, she was never able to get rid of her pain. Now she knows exactly what to do and what not to do so that she can start feeling good and building muscle and not having to deal with, feeling like shit and feeling sad or depressed or isolated or, any of those negative feelings, right? She's more empowered now, right? And that's always my goal, is to empower and to educate hygienists to live their best, healthiest lives, feeling great physically and mentally. So I know that was a lot, but if you're interested in learning more about how I correct muscle imbalances with my clients in my Lift for Longevity method, I'm going to go ahead and link the application. I have a couple spots left this month, but go ahead and fill it out. And if it sounds like you'd be potentially a good fit, somebody on my team will reach out to you. And other than that, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the flip side next week.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope you got a takeaway from this episode. And if you did, would you be so kind to share it with another dental pro you think would benefit from it? I know you love learning, and chances are that they do too. Also, I would love to connect with you on Instagram, so go ahead and head over to the Lift for Longevity podcast page or follow me at Built by Brianne. If you shoot me a message saying hello, I will personally respond because I love chatting with dental pros. Before you go, though, I want to let you know that I appreciate you and what you do, and I hope to chat soon. Until next time, stay strong.